What are your
Mm.
thoughts on the whole Dr. Dre dating Michelle? How
I
crazy is
love
that?
it. If there's a chance Dr. Dre is going to be on The Valley season 4, dear Lord, make it happen. Make it happen. I'm so incredibly here for that.
Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We're going to be talking about The Valley, Season 3, Episode 5. But before we do that, I'm going to do our call to action. Please head over to YouTube and hit subscribe and give us 5-star reviews. And thank you for everyone who has already
you.
done so. Last time Kelly and I were together when we were discussing, what were we discussing last
I
time?
think it
Oh,
was The
Atlanta.
Valley. Atlanta. It was
It was
Atlanta.
Atlanta. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So before we did Atlanta, we brought up the whole Steve McBee situation, right?
Yes.
Or did we talk about Summer House? I don't even know. Listen, you know what? This Bravo universe the past couple weeks has been very fast moving. But I'm
There's
going to bring
so
up the
much
Steve.
going on.
There's really so much going on. I'm going to bring up the Steve McBee situation. So he just posted something on his Facebook page. We're recording this Friday evening. Actually, at 6:01 our time, he posted it. Personally, I'm writing this post as this group keeps up with our family and our farm during the good times and the bad. I'm sure most of you have seen this week's headlines. I'm sorry, period. It's unacceptable, never justified, and no matter how hurt or betrayed I'm feeling, the language used and derogatory way in which I spoke to someone I love is not okay. Sadly, this isn't something I just became aware of. I've been working on it proactively for a while now with consistent therapy for a year now and even medication starting in February. Obviously, there's still a lot more work to do, and I plan on doing just that. I'll be stepping up the work and heading to an intensive 6-day retreat next week to hopefully learn some tools to better handle situations where I'm hurting bad, heartbroken, or betrayed. Sorry for the letdown. Just know I will come back better from this and I won't let this be the way I'm remembered. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the justified criticism, taking it all on the chin and letting it make me better. I personally think it is a sincere apology. I don't think he's just doing it to save face. I think that everything I've seen of him, he has a lot of stress and pressure, but he is a good guy, and I really think he cares what his mother thinks, and I think he has I mentioned this actually when we talked about it. His mom would not be proud of those actions, and I'm sure she sat him down and had a talk with him. And I think he does listen to his mother because one of the things I did keep saying is that this guy needs therapy. And if he's actually going to work on himself and be a better person, I think that's great. I mean, it did also come out that Kayla, his other ex, then dropped some text messages that, were just as filtered as the ones we saw most recently. What are your thoughts, Cal?
I think he was faced with possibly them canceling the show. I think that does have a lot to do with this. However, I think him seeking any kind of treatment is a great thing. So whatever the motivation is behind it, because clearly this isn't new behavior for him, and I think that he is going to benefit from any treatment he seeks. And hopefully he goes into it with the right mindset, wanting something different, because anybody can go to therapy, but you have to, it's like rehab. You got to want it. So I do think that he wants to be a reality TV star. I think that this is what he aspires to do. So I hope that he has good intentions with this. But quite honestly, if you are a public figure and those text messages got leaked, who wouldn't want to change that? Like, I don't care if you're the biggest narcissist in the world. You're going to want to make some kind of change because that's publicly humiliating. It's got to make you feel a certain way about yourself.
It absolutely does. And honestly, I'll be honest, I can't believe Kayla, his other ex, didn't out him before this because she certainly had the
She got
receipts.
She certainly had the receipts. She got out though. She got, she
Yeah.
was so far removed from it. She was probably like, whatever, dude, You gotta live with yourself. I'm out.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I hope he does better. I do like the show. I do like his family. No, he shouldn't talk to people like that, but I really don't believe in cancel culture. I believe people can make mistakes, and I believe people can do better, and I'd like to give people
Yeah,
another chance. That's all. I'd like for him to have another chance. That's all I'm saying.
right, but these networks put so much money into these shows, they're probably not gonna wanna chance it. If people are gonna turn on him and not support
Well,
the
it
show,
already
they're
I mean,
not gonna
they
have the show.
right. But they already filmed it, so it's not like it's
It
not
would be
filmed.
silly for them not to just play it, because I think they're gonna wind up playing The Bachelorette too with Taylor
I
Frankie
think
Paul.
they are too, especially after what came out in court with Dakota.
Yeah,
Dakota is, a true narcissist. Like, I don't know.
yeah.
It's
I mean, listen, like I said, him going for any kind of treatment is only gonna benefit him. It's only gonna, hopefully make him think twice about ever speaking to or putting in writing those types of things. Never put it in
yes.
writing. What are you doing?
Yes. Yeah. And like you said, and not that we're blaming people, I mean, like you said, his father probably did speak to his mother that way.
I mean, I would
I mean, the
imagine,
man
and I'm not a parent
yeah.
blamer personally,
No, we're not.
because I
We are
don't want to
not
be
parent
blamed
blamers.
if my kids do certain things. But I would imagine that he witnessed some type of interaction between the two of them.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's actually talk since we are talking about the Valley, season 3, episode 5, the Hive mentality. What are your thoughts on the whole Dr. Dre dating Michelle? How
I
crazy is
love
that?
it. I love
I
it.
mean, who saw that coming?
Not on my bingo card, but if there's a chance Dr. Dre is going to be on the Valley season 4, dear Lord, make it happen. Make it happen. I'm so incredibly here for that.
I think that this whole twist and turn, and actually, I'll be honest with you, after this episode, the more I get to know, this is the thing about these people, like they're actually people. Like, we call them characters, but they're people. And we only know what the small bit we see. But the more I learn about Michelle and her family, the more I really like her. I really
Me
like
too.
her. Like the first 2 seasons, she comes off kind of robotic and a little bit cold, and
Yes.
obviously, yeah, she's not the same personality as Jesse for sure, right? So,
No, but she was married to him, and that could not have been easy.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is we like Jesse too. So that's the
Yeah.
other thing,
Yeah. I
that's the
wouldn't
other
ever
interesting
wanna be
thing.
married to him, but yeah.
Yes, but he's very charming and entertaining. And, you could see, like we said, when we saw the engagement ring and we saw the engagement in Paris, like you could see the allure, you could see the attraction. Like, it's so we start out at Jesse's house and he's in the Hollywood Hills and he's FaceTiming with Lacey while he's wearing her yellow feather hat. Okay. You know what I like about the Lacey Jesse relationship is that Lacey really is in charge.
Yeah, she could, like that shtick, like, he could, "Okay, okay, Jesse, take the wig off, now let's really talk."
Yeah.
Like, he's such an attention seeker, and she's like, "Okay, you got it for about 20 seconds, and then let's move on."
Yeah. Then we see Janet and Jason are talking about schools for Cameron. They're trying to decide, like, are they going to get a bigger house? Are they going to have another baby? Like, what they're going to do? Where are they going to live? Like, what's going to happen? Which are real conversations that someone in their situation would be having.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nia and Michelle meet up with their kids, Isabel and Asher, and they're doing gymnastics. And then all of a sudden, Michelle pulls out of nowhere that she's been doing gymnastics since she was 5, but I mean, she hasn't done it in 10 or 15 years, and all of a sudden she does a cartwheel, round off, and front flip or back flip. I don't even
Yeah,
remember which
like,
flip it
back
was.
handsprings, yeah.
I was like, "Oh my goodness, like, that's crazy."
Yeah, and she says, like, she didn't you know, that's what she focused on when she was younger, she wanted to go to the Olympics.
Yeah. Up until she stopped doing it when she was 15, so she did it for 10 years, and that's when her parents got divorced. And then she goes, which I didn't really understand, and I still don't understand, but that's okay. Her dad had a mental illness, and that's why he left his mom, not because he didn't love her. He actually went to her and her mom, and he asked if it would be okay if he left. And they said, yeah. He did it because he thought they'd be safer without him. He thought that people were after him. In his mind, he
It's
thought people
it's
were
almost like A
coming for
Beautiful
him.
Mind. Did you ever see that movie, A Beautiful Mind?
I never did.
So, A Beautiful Mind is about an extremely smart man. I forget his name, but he lived in Princeton with his wife and they had a child. And I remember of course, Eric was working in Princeton at the time. I was working in Princeton at the time that they were filming it. And I forget Russell Crowe? I forget who
Yeah,
played
I
him.
know Russell Crowe I think it was Russell Crowe was in it, but I never saw it.
So I don't even know what he had, what diagnosis he had, but that's what this reminded me of. You would see him having a conversation with someone, but the person wasn't real. So that's I don't know what I'd have to look up what diagnosis
Yeah,
Eric would know
and
because
he
Eric used to see him walking around Princeton, the gentleman.
oh, because it was based on a true story.
It was based on a true story, and they still lived in Princeton, and I believe his son has the same diagnosis as him, and sadly, he and his wife got killed in a car accident.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, terrible,
That's
terrible.
horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah.
But, her mom and her said, "Okay," and then he went to her mom's funeral, and she said that, after her mom's funeral, he says, he says, "My wife has passed away." So he still considered her his wife. Now, I don't did you get a chance to watch the after show?
I did not. I did
So
not.
I did. I watched it as soon as I got home from work today. I'm so glad I watched it because she gave so much more information about this whole
Okay.
situation. So her dad doesn't drive. She found out like when he was gone for a long time, he actually had become a monk. So he's like, "Where were you? I couldn't get in touch with you." He's like, "Well, I was a monk. Like I don't have a car, I didn't have a cell phone." Like he was a monk. She's like, "So
Wow.
now sometimes," yeah, so now sometimes like he's not a monk anymore, but he'll just like, show up at her house, and he'll, like, have to take the bus to get there, and they showed him playing what game was he oh, he's playing cards with Isabella. So he now is, like, very much involved in her life. She really likes her relationship with him. She was doing it is so sweet. Like, Isabel and him were playing cards, and she actually has I didn't know this either, like, a stepbrother and a stepsister, and her father wound up raising them, and she didn't even understand this, like, she's half Mexican and half is it Syrian? Is Michelle half
Yes,
Syrian?
I believe so. I remember that from the first
Yes.
season, yeah.
So, her siblings are all Mexican, and their parents were killed in, like, a plane crash, and her father took them in and, like, raised them as his own. She has a half brother and a half sister, and she didn't understand it when she was growing up, and then she, like, found out. And she said, like, the brother, like, still takes care of her father, and he said he wouldn't be where he is today without him because this man raised him. Like, I was like, "Oh my god, this man is a" like, he seems like a very
Wow.
wonderful person, and she has this
Yeah.
really like, now she has a relationship with him now that her mom is gone. Of course, she needs this, right? Because her mom
Yeah,
died,
of
so it was
course.
so when she said that whole story, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so touching." Like, I I wish it didn't have to be on the after show. I mean, thank God I watched
I
the after
know.
show, but that's something that should have been on. Like, that's so
Yeah,
integral to who she is, right?
like, I wonder why it wasn't in the episode. Maybe she didn't talk about it in the episode or no, because I feel like when they watch the after show, they kind of, like, dive into what they're
Like,
talking
into
about
what
even
was
more.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so she was like and again, she was on the after show with Janet, but she did this scene with Nia. So I think maybe so she's telling Janet stuff that she probably already told Nia, you know what I mean?
Right,
That we just didn't get to
right.
see? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Michelle and Schwartz are inviting everybody to San Diego. Those 2 decided they're gonna do a trip to San Diego. Nia is okay with coexisting with Janet and, she doesn't need a plan or a strategy. She'll just, go and figure it out, which I think
yeah,
is a good plan.
yeah, very good plan.
Kristen and Brittany and Zach meet up, and Kristen's getting a sugaring and a spray tan. Okay. Why would they do this to poor Zach?
She
I
wasn't
mean,
getting a sugaring, she got a Brazilian.
yeah, but they did it with sugar. A Brazilian sugaring.
That's I don't even know how they do that, first of all. That is so painful, incredibly painful.
I've never done
Like,
it.
I
I
don't
wouldn't
wanna
know.
talk to anybody after. I still admittedly, I do go for, bikini waxes, but quite honestly, TMI, it's because I'm so blind without glasses or contacts in. I don't know what's going on. So I just throw some money at the situation and call it a day.
And
But I
sometimes
do
that's what you
not
gotta do.
I do a full bikini. I do not do a Brazilian. I did that one time, never again. I couldn't walk for like 3 days.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
don't know.
Zach
Listen, so
cracked me up though, where he was like, "Can you like give me can you make it look like I got muscles?" Like,
muscles, I know, and he's getting his spray tan. I like Zach, I really do. He's so funny. He's so
I think
funny.
he's having a great season. Very funny.
I do too. And they're getting ready. I mean, Brittany's having another pool party. So she's talking about that. And like I said, poor Zach, he happens to walk in when Kristen is in like full position for the Brazilian. Like, and honestly, I don't understand why there wasn't a closed door. Like, why did he have the ability just to walk in like that? Is my first question.
I think it was set up that way. Though they must have shut down the whole place
They
because
had to
you're not
have.
yeah. I mean, you're not leaving the door open for that.
No, no. He's like, it's like, I think I saw your uterus, which is so funny. I think he might have the position she
I
was
think he
in.
did. I'm pretty sure he did.
He's like, I turned the corner and I got full flapjacks of Kristen. I was like, flapjacks?
Oh, Brittany's
So they're,
getting the Brazilian. Brittany's getting the
yeah,
Brazilian.
yeah. But Kristen's getting whatever, she's getting a bikini wax or
She
some
must have
sort.
too, yeah, because
She
her
must have
knees
too,
were up to
the
her
position she
chin.
was in. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So they're talking about, Kristen's date with Luke and that they're, going to go to couples counseling. And they're both encouraging that. Like they both think, and I do too. I think it's a great idea.
Yes, absolutely.
Then we see Lala, Michelle, and Janet are all doing Pilates, and they're talking to Janet about how she feels like, seeing of pictures of them when she's out, when she's not out there, when the group is out there. And she's like, if there's something I've said or I've done, I'm not above apologizing. I'm like, actually, you are above apologizing. What are you talking about?
When they were talking about Zach, she's like, Zach and I have been through some dark stuff, but I've forgiven him.
Right.
Okay. No, she's zero accountability.
I mean, and then even when she said, okay, well, I think I'm going to have a game night and I'm going to invite Jasmine and Melissa and I'm going to invite Zach and Benji. And you know what? I'm going to invite Nia and Danny. I'm just going to invite everybody. All right. Good for you.
Right.
Good for
Right.
you. Then we see Jesse and Isabella meet up with Lacey, and Jesse says to Isabella, like, do that dance for Lacey. And Lacey says to Jesse, actually, I don't want you to make her to do anything for me. She's not a clown at the circus. She does not need to perform for me. And I was like, oh, when she said that, I was like, I already did like Lacey, but I really like Lacey. I do.
Well, I really like that she said that. I
I
don't
do
like it
too.
when people put their kids on the spot like that,
Yeah,
I agree with her.
I do too. And then Lacey's like, can I give you unsolicited failed parent criticism? And Jesse's like, should she read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Jesse, I thought that was actually very funny.
Very
She's
funny.
like, no, you're not supposed to teach your kid to keep secrets. Now, I don't know where that came from because
Because he was whispering something in Isabella's ear.
Well, do you know what he was whispering?
He was whispering something in Isabella's ear. I don't know what it was, but that's when Lacey said that.
Okay.
Yeah, that
That's
was good too that
also,
she said that.
yeah, great advice. Great advice. Jesse said, exciting news. We'll have another month or two left and then we'll be officially divorced. Then we see Lacey. She has her own confessional. She's talking about her doomsday shelter. It's not nuke proof, though. She doesn't think it's underground.
It's Doomsday Light.
Yes, doomsday light. I thought that was very funny, too. And that was also something that they talked about in the after show, the whole doomsday thing.
Mm-hmm.
Jason said that Janet was into that, and then Janet was talking about it, and she said that she's got, like, all the Costco, like, doomsday kits, but she maybe will be getting a shelter one day, and there was all these conversations about that, and Lala's like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna say I'm done. And then they asked them, if you could bring 2 people into your doomsday shelter, who would you bring? Oh my God, the answers to that were so funny.
That's
Brittany's like, I
funny.
have to bring it was funny. Brittany's like, I have to bring 4. I have to bring Lala, Kristen, Janet, and Zach. And then Lala's like, I'm gonna bring Brittany and Janet and somebody else. She said, I'm not gonna bring Michelle because she's just as worthless as I am. Like, she wouldn't be able to do anything. And then she's like, oh, no, I shouldn't say that. She's not like she's worthless. And then somebody said Luke, and Luke has got like 4, not trailers, containers. Luke has 4 containers. Luke is the doomsday guy. Like, you need to bring Luke.
You
He's
want
like,
Luke. You want Luke in your camp.
yes. Yes. So then Lala's like, oh, we want to bring people who are going to help us survive. All right, I want Luke too. And then everyone wanted Luke. Like, and they decided, oh, we're not bringing people we like. We're bringing people who are going to help us. It's just funny.
You want the
Like
people with
that's honestly right. That's what I like about the after show. I think I like when they do funny things and then
Yes.
they were asking about like what special talents you have. And Schwartz was trying to say that he was like a yoga master. He's like, I think I can stand on my hands. And then Michelle did her gymnastics. It was just funny watching them try. You have to watch that episode. But that's the stuff that should be on the after show is like fun stuff like that, not serious stuff where we find out like important life information. That should be on the show.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Jason and Janet's game night.
Yeah. So nobody shows up. Nobody shows up.
It's basically Michelle, Janet, Jason, Brittany, Schwartz, and then randos.
And then
Complete randoms.
Jared was their like host
MC.
of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad.
Did you see they're like showing everybody who didn't go like what they were actually doing, and Luke was eating that big watermelon with a spoon, like just shoving the spoon in the big watermelon. Like he was definitely busy. He was not able to come. He had a big old watermelon he had to get to.
He definitely did. Yep. Then it's the day of the pool party. Brittany's going over her pizza order with Zach, and he's like, half your party's on GLP-1s. I think you're okay, because she was ordering like 10 pizzas. I thought that was so funny.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then Luke walks in with his socks on, and Zach is like, what are you doing? You want to get a sock tan line? Like, he did have high socks. They're so funny. Nia brings the baby upstairs to nap. I like that she always, participates. Then they start talking. The girls are talking about when they go to San Diego, they want to do a pageant for the boys to dress up. I think that this could actually be funny.
Be funny, but when they flash back to Tom Schwartz as a woman, he really is an ugly woman.
He
Like
is.
Kristen said it, but and then they flash back and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then we see they're all in the backyard. Janet and they're all in the backyard yelling about how they're tired about talking about Janet and Jason. And as they're doing that, like Janet and Jason are walking in. I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be good.
How about real quick at the end of game night, though, when, Brittany was saying, like, I just want to have fun. Like, I don't want to keep talking. And Janet starts crying, but no tears. Like, she must have gone to the Tamra School of crying acting. There were 0 tears. Horrible.
I don't know. I wish I could like her, but there's nothing about her I like.
Me neither. I don't understand why they all ride so hard for her.
And
I
it's
don't get
weird,
it.
too, because that was the other thing they were talking about on the after show, like the Hive mentality. And they're all saying that that's something Lala came up with. And actually, I think it was Brittany that came up with it, but Lala was perpetuating it. And it is true that Lala and Brittany and Michelle and Janet, they all think that Janet didn't do anything all that bad. When everyone else, and Zach said this on the after show, everyone has their own individual reason that they don't like something Janet did. It is not all because of Danny. It's not,
Right.
Everyone has their own reason. And Janet doesn't seem to, they just think because Danny's so likable and that they just all jumped on Danny's bandwagon, but that's not the case.
No, because listen, I think that we can all agree that Danny has done some inappropriate things while drinking under the influence of alcohol. Nobody's disputing that. I mean, to say that to use the essay reference was outlandish, and even Jasmine said it, and it was about her. So yeah, there has to be more. There has to be more because he has exhibited that behavior. So nobody's denying that. There has to be more to it.
And that's the whole thing is like Danny has apologized to all the people that he's hurt, and they've accepted his apology. He even apologized to Janet that she felt uncomfortable when he went in the closet and had the drink of alcohol.
Which was ridiculous.
Which was ridiculous. So what is it that you want? You've called him all these names. You've ruined his reputation. Like, what are you doing? You don't see why everyone is mad at you?
Right.
And like Zach said, he's mad at her for other reasons.
I'm so frustrated. Well, you caused it, Janet. So figure your frustration out. You caused it. Apologize.
Yeah. Kristen and Janet smoke together. So I I wrote that down, but I don't actually remember that. But they were
So
talking about that on the after show. I guess she had weed. Janet was smoking weed.
so Janet wanted to I think she said something crazy like, "I'm gonna DoorDash a vape," or like a cart or something. And, Kristen was like, "No, Brittany's got weed inside." So they went and they sat and packed a bowl. Yeah, but,
Okay.
Kristen's like, "It's not a peace pipe, it's not an olive branch, it's not that deep."
Right. But in Janet's mind, she's like, oh my God, like this really is a peace pipe. Like Kristen's smoking with me.
Exactly,
And that's what they were all
exactly, but
talking
it
about on the
wasn't.
after show. It wasn't.
How about Brandon getting himself involved again, telling Kristen to be nice because it's stressing Brittany out? Which,
I know.
okay, I understand that Brittany's getting stressed out, but Brandon, shut up.
I don't even know why he's there.
Yeah, you're
Like, why are
nobody
you
in
there?
this. You're
Yeah.
nobody in this, so stop it. Yeah, and Lala did say to Jasmine that everyone in the anti-Janet group, they're not thinking for themselves.
Right. Which isn't true. I mean, they are all thinking for
It's
themselves.
exactly, yeah. Like
Then we see
Janet,
Lala kisses Schwartz.
my god, that was so good.
And then
How
we
about
see
when
1 week later, they're all
Nia
fighting again.
yeah, but when they asked Nia in her confessional if she's not looking forward to seeing Janet and Jason, and she goes, "Who?"
I know. That's what I love about she's such a class act, Nia. She's
She
so
is a class
pretty
act.
too. She is
She is a
such a pretty girl. And I
yeah.
think people are just jealous of her and Danny. I really think they are.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, he's definitely exhibited some inappropriate behavior, but he's apologized for it, and it seems like he's not drinking as much, at least on the
He's
show.
not. He's not. And, they've said they'd go to counseling. When they have a problem, they seek help. They don't just rug it. They don't just sweep it under the rug. They deal with
Right,
it,
right,
which is the adult thing to do.
right, right. Zach pulled Luke aside, and he said he and Kristen should, go basically telling them they should probably go see a therapist. He kept saying a
Mhm.
third party, but that's how I took it. But he says, "I know you guys are great together," which I thought was very sweet.
Yeah. And, Luke is saying that, and he said it in his confessional, and he said it on the after show. Listen, he loves Kristen. He's not leaving Kristen. He's frustrated with the situation. Yes, he said some things that when he looks back on them now, he's not proud of, right? Like, he's a man too. He's a human. Like, he's not perfect. He's not been a dad before. He's not been in this situation. His family's not there. He's done so much already. And I really do think that they're gonna be okay. I think they're gonna, do the couples counseling. They're gonna learn how to talk to each other and how to compromise a little bit better. They have plans. Luke wants to possibly move to Nashville. I mean, Kristen said that when they got together, they agreed that before their child became of school age, they were gonna get out of LA, that they were not raising
Yeah,
children in LA. That's their
right,
plan.
right. I could see them going to where Nia and Danny are, though.
Yeah, and Nia said in the after show that she found a place in Santa Clarita that had 2 acres, and she was calling up to get the price of it for Kristen and Luke, and she's like, it wasn't for sale. So, like, they're looking for someplace for Luke and Kristen in Santa Clarita.
I could see that for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. And then Zach and Janet go have their conversation. Janet just wants to have fun and get over the bullshit with Zach. So
I
again,
mean,
she doesn't really want to and this is what I didn't like. I didn't like when first of all, Lala and Michelle are sitting there like little girls, like eavesdropping, and Lala's like, "He's so detailed, you know, with what he's bring with his receipts." And it's like, "Okay, well, if you wanna get resolution, you need to talk about what's gone on." Janet doesn't wanna do that, though. She's like, "Alright, let's just move on."
no. Yeah, and Zach tells her when she gets up, she wants destruction. Like, Zach wants to make her accountable, and she's not taking accountability.
And then she says, "Can't they see I'm moving and speaking differently? What more do they want?"
Yeah, they want you to own up to what you said and what you did. And it wasn't just the Danny and Nia thing. It was many things that you've done. You think that you're superior to all of them, and you're
Yes.
not.
Right.
And that's really where the problem lies. And I don't understand. I really don't get why Lala and Michelle are riding so hard for her. I get why Brittany is, because Brittany is a people pleaser, and that's what Brittany does. And Brittany's not going to change. But Lala's not a people pleaser.
I know.
I don't get
I
why
don't
she's
get it.
so.
I don't get it at all. I really don't.
I don't either. I don't. But then we see, like I said, next week they're all fighting again. So
Why? What? I don't think I saw next week's preview.
yeah, there was a preview. I think that they're in San Diego or on their way to San Diego.
Oh, right. They're going right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this was I mean, it was an alright episode.
It was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great
Yeah.
one. It wasn't a great one.
Yeah. Not a lot happened, you know.
No, but I mean, honestly, like I said, my favorite part of the whole episode was the whole thing, learning a little bit more about Michelle, and it wasn't even so much in
Yeah.
the episode that I learned it, it was more in the after show. So,
Right.
I encourage
Right.
people to watch the after show.
Yeah, I mean, most of the times I can. Not this week.
It's
Too
okay.
much going on.
All right, so until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe and give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.